Okay, so I've just started that recording now, I think. Yep. Okay, so just in case you haven't met any of us before, just to let you know that we are a team of guidance counsellors and a guidance information officer across Longford and Westmeath, and I suppose our role is to help adults in Longford and Westmeath to kind of make decisions around their education and their training, their career options, that kind of thing. And we'll be available to support you at any stage in this journey that you're on, whether you're considering third level or higher education as your next step, or maybe other alternatives as well. We will chat to you around any of those. To let you know as well, I'll share my slides with you later on. I'll email them to everybody, and all the links and resources that we mentioned today, I will send them to you by email after this is over. And as I said, this has been recorded, so we'll pop it up on our YouTube channel and share it with you as well. But if you want to screenshot or photograph any of the slides as we go along, you know, if there's ones that appeal to you and you want to keep them in mind, do that as we go along as well. And we'll take questions and answers throughout, and through the chat function there on your screen, or later on you can unmute and ask your question either if you want to. So I suppose they're just the housekeeping things. Both myself and Emer will be chatting with you today, but first I'm going to let Emer talk to you about some of the options and supports that are available in Maynooth University to you as a mature student. Thanks a million, Emer.
That's great. Niamh, can you just tell me that you can see that, all right?
Yeah, that's perfect.
And it's moving on. Okay, that's great. Yeah. So as Niamh said, my name is Emer, and I work in the Maynooth Access Programme in Maynooth University, and I'm the Mature Student Officer there. And I suppose just to say a little bit about the Maynooth Access Programme, our role in the university is to encourage people who are coming through other routes, you know, outside of the Leaving Cert points route into the university. So we would support people coming through the mature student entry route, the disability access route to education for school leavers with a disability, for the HEA or the higher education access route for students from disadvantaged backgrounds, and people coming through the further education QQI links route as well. So to encourage people coming through those routes and to support them when they get here. So just, I think I've about half an hour, so I'll just say a little bit about Maynooth University. I'll give you an absolute flying whistle-stop tour through the courses. We've about nearly over 30 different degree courses, so I'm not going to go into any detail on them, but just to kind of, I'll probably concentrate mostly on the Bachelor of Arts, which is the most popular degree course in the university, and it really encompasses every kind of area of study you can think of outside of kind of science and engineering. I'll talk about the mature student entry route as it works in Maynooth, and it will be different for different colleges that you might be thinking of going to. I'll talk about the supports specifically for mature students, and then some of the preparatory and foundation courses at Maynooth. So just we're part of the National University of Ireland, so ourselves along with UCD, NUI Galway and UCC down in Cork. Currently, we'd have about 11,500 students studying with us at undergraduate level, and we have a policy to try and reach 10% or keeps 10% of places for mature students on every single degree course that we have. The university is very accessible for students. It's a very student-centred university. It's still relatively small, obviously much bigger than what you're used to in the centres that you're studying in at the moment across Longford and Westmeath. But you know, we have, while there are big classes, it's very easy to get your hands on lecturers and tutors and support staff and that kind of thing throughout the university. Just in terms of Maynooth, if people know where it is, we're about 25k outside of Dublin city centre. It's very accessible from Dublin city centre, but there's also buses where there's no, you know, bus routes coming from different parts of the country, and we have laid on specific Maynooth buses going to and from the campus every day or a couple of times a day. So as your guidance counsellors there, I've probably said to you, you know, if any of you are thinking of coming to college, especially for September 2020, 2022. You know, going along to talks like these are very important, but you will have to spend a bit of time doing your own research, because it's very important, especially as mature students, that you end up studying in the right institution, doing the course that's right for you. So it's very important to find out as much as you can. In terms of doing that research for Maynooth anyway, it's just maynoothuniversity.ie, and if you go into our courses as well, you will get very, very detailed information on every degree course we have on offer, and what subjects are taught and what modules within those subjects, so you can really drill down. Obviously, we have the prospectus and mature student handbook. If I was there in person with you, I usually bring these along, and we probably have sent some prospectuses and handbooks to Niamh or to people, but I can certainly, if anybody would like anything posted out to them, I can organise that through Niamh, but they're all available online. I suppose the good thing about the handbook, it kind of details all the application, selection, supports and everything for mature students, with information that's specifically relevant for mature students. We had our open days a couple of weekends ago, but there will be other open days. I'll talk about that later. And just going to talks like these, looking at them online, and it's being recorded, so you'll have chances to look at this at any stage. But just kind of getting the bits of information from the various sources is the important thing for you. So Maynooth University, we've broad entry degrees and then degrees that are more specialised. So some people might want to keep their degree very broad at this stage and not sure what they want to do with their degree, not sure what kind of career they want to pursue. And other people might have a very fixed idea that they definitely want to teach, or they definitely want to go into business, or they definitely want to learn, you know, go into social work or something like that. So just in terms of the broad entry degrees, as I said, the most popular degree is the Bachelor of Arts. That's the MH101 is the code, and I know Niamh is talking about the CAO in a little while. So in this degree, there's 33 subjects altogether that people choose from, and they're put into different groups. And the idea is that you choose up to 4 subjects for first year. Now you can choose 2. You can choose 2 as double subjects. Some of them are available as double subjects, others aren't. And the more you do research, the more you'll find out about this. And I suppose I do want to stress as well, my email and phone number and everything, I'll put it up again as the last slide. But you know, if anybody is applying over the next few weeks or months, well, weeks, and wants to know more about everything I'm talking about how you apply, how we select, how you end up choosing your subjects, you know, we can talk through that in more detail. But I suppose the thing is just to say that there's loads of choice, loads of choice in the Bachelor of Arts degree. So just to show you there, the 33 subjects: geography, German, law, maths, philosophy, business, various different types of business. You can do international management, marketing, criminology, history, music, English, international development, mathematical studies, anthropology, economics, finance, music technology, Nua Gaeilge, which is just Irish, computer science, sociology, Spanish, accounting, Chinese, French, Greek and Roman, civilization, media, cultural, medieval, Celtic studies, politics, psychological studies, and statistics. So there's a huge range of courses there, huge choice. I suppose the one thing to know is that when you eventually come to picking your subjects, and you don't, even when you're applying through the CAO over the next few weeks, you don't put down your subject choice, you just put down the Bachelor of Arts degree. It's just much later in the year, really, when you're registering, you pick your actual subjects. But just, I suppose you can only pick subjects from separate groups. So if you were interested in geography there, for instance, you cannot take German with it because they clash on the timetable. So we select mature students. It's just interview for this. So everybody that applies for the Bachelor of Arts is guaranteed an interview. Now, because of COVID over the last couple of years, and we're not sure where we will be next March, April, May, when the interviews usually take place. But we instead of asking people who are currently doing a QQI level 5 course, instead of asking them to come in for interview, we actually ask them just to send on the results. Usually we're looking for distinctions in 4 of your academic modules, and we emailed everybody who was doing a QQI course to send on the results. But we did give them the option, if you wanted to come for interview and meet us, you could do that. And we did them through teams as well. So we'll see, I can update you, Neve, if there's any changes on that nearer the time. So the application that we have is the CAO form. It's just a CAO application, and we will have any documents that you've uploaded with your application. We'll have your personal statement. And then during the interview, what's most important to us is what you're currently doing. So we're not looking for leaving cert points or even to have a leaving cert or anything like that. But so what's most important is what you're currently doing and how you're doing it. And so how you're doing in your current course. So we'll ask you, how you're performing, what kind of results you've been getting from your tutors, from your various modules that you're doing, what kind of feedback you're getting from your tutors, what kind of academic skills you've acquired. So obviously essays is a big thing for the arts degree. Assignments, what format have your assignments taken? Are you doing essays all the time? Are you doing in-class exams? Are you doing exams? Whatever it is. Maths and labs, only if you're kind of going towards those mathematics-based subjects. And then we just talk a little bit about the kind of research you've done into your future studies, really. And we spent a little bit of time at the interview as well, just kind of covering the more practical side of things. So do you know how SUSI works? Do you know how the back to education allowance works? And just kind of filling you in really on any of the practical aspects of coming back to college. And then we give you time for questions. So we encourage people to have plenty of questions at the interview. And then the outcome is usually, waiting for a result. And I suppose that's why we didn't drag people in for interview. We didn't insist on interviewing people because really what's interesting for us is the end results. But as I say, the interview can be an option. And sometimes we might recommend people onto a 1-week essay course or a 3-week maths course during the summer, depending on what degree they're going for and depending on how much academic writing they've done, or maths if they're going towards a maths-based subject. And then in other cases, at the end of the selection process, we might be recommending a 1-year preparatory course or foundation course, but obviously everybody here, I think, is doing a level 5, so you're actually already doing the preparation for third level. A lot of people do apply to us who haven't been in education for a long time, so that recommendation to preparatory study will be the outcome for a lot of people. So what we're looking for is evidence that you're prepared academically to study at third level, so to have completed a course in education in recent years and to have acquired your various academic and study skills, and that you have done your research and that you've thought about college practically. So then that's our Bachelor of Arts degree. Then we have much more specialised degrees. So just fly through all these. We have the Bachelor of Social Science, so that's sociology, social policy, and then you take one subject from that list there: anthropology, economics, geography, history and philosophy. We've got the pure music degree, psychology degree, community and youth work, which is available as a part-time or full-time degree course. We've various law degrees: pure law with accounting or business or criminology. And we've various business degrees. I know some of you are studying QQI level 5 business, so you can do business in different ways with management, international business, marketing, business with accounting, or languages, which is new this year, or global cultures, which is new this year, entrepreneurship, product design. We've various degrees in economics and finance and accounting. And then we've education degrees kind of covering the whole spectrum of lifelong learning. So you can study either full or part-time on early childhood if you're interested in how children, before they go to school up to the age of 4 or 5, how they learn, what's the best teaching approaches. You can become a primary teacher. You can become a second level teacher with arts degree or science, or you can study for your professional teaching qualification while studying science, maths, computer science, if anybody's that way inclined. And then a lot of mature students would like to go back and teach in centres like the ones where you're studying in Longford and Westmeath. So they might do their arts degree for 3 years and then do a 1-year postgraduate higher diploma in further and adult education, just to give them that professional teaching qualification to go in and teach in a college of further education. So unlike the Bachelor of Arts degree, there isn't an automatic interview. There's a written assessment which takes place around March or April, and that is not an aptitude test. It's not you know, it's usually a question that requires an essay type answer, and really to prepare for that, you just need to be looking into the degree, look into the social science, the community and youth work, the psychology degrees, the music, the media, whatever it is, and just find out a little bit about the degree and think about why you want to specialise in this particular area. So an essay type, a question requiring an essay type answer. Some of our degrees, the psychology, for instance, do have a kind of mathematics type test with it as part of the written assessment, and all of our science degrees would have that. So that would be a kind of a 10 or 12 multiple choice questions as part of that. So the science and engineering, I won't spend too much time on them. Just looking at the time, you have loads of time. So the broad degree is like the broad arts degree. Everybody does maths and everybody does 3 subjects from that group. So again, like the arts degree, you have loads of choice there. But I don't think anybody in attending there today is doing science or engineering. So I won't spend too much time on that. These are the more specialised science degrees in the biology kind of areas, data science, physics areas, theoretical physics, psychology. You can do that through science as well as arts, the pharmaceuticals, science education, and then various computer science if people are into software development, software engineering or web development. So there's degrees in all those areas. And then in engineering, the main engineering in Maynooth is electronic engineering, and we also teach robotics and intelligent devices, which has become a very popular subject and a lot of work in those areas. So for any of the science degrees, it's the maths test followed by a shortlist for interview. So I'm delighted that Niamh is doing a fantastic presentation after myself on the CAO, so I won't go through any detail. That just to reiterate, or just to say, I should say, the deadline is the 1st of February. As Niamh will tell you, there's a kind of slightly cheaper if you do it by a certain date in January. It's open at the moment, so people can start making their application and come back into it later on. But just in terms of Maynooth, that's the we do accept late application for some of our courses, but generally you should be aiming for the 1st of February. But if the 1st of February has come and gone and you think, God, I'm sorry I didn't apply for the social science in Maynooth or one of the business courses or the arts, you can check and see if there's anything still open. Some of the courses that have the written assessment might close on the 1st of March. Some of the more broad ones with just the interview, like the arts degree, we often keep it open until the 1st of May. But I really think you should have the 1st of February in your sites, because it's not guaranteed that we would always have late applications. I know for a fact that the Bachelor of Education, the primary teaching degree, and the community and youth work and the Bachelor of Music all absolutely and utterly close on the 1st of February. So I'm not going to go through the CAO, which is great. So the preparatory courses, I know, so as I said earlier on, you're all doing your level 5. There might be some people out there who might look at this later who are doing level 4, and if you're interested in doing a foundation course in a university setting, just to say what we have. So we have the Return to Learning programme, which is a level 5 programme on the qualifications framework, and it prepares people for degree programmes in the arts and humanities. This is a 1-year part-time programme, and once you get 60% at the end of it, you don't have to go through any selection process. You just apply through the CAO and you're guaranteed progression into the first year of the BA. We have a certificate in science level 6, 1 year full-time, again guarantee progression into relevant degree courses, and then we have a 1-year foundation course at level 6 on if anybody's interested in teaching, so you can gain access into our primary or second level teaching degree courses. This is for people who particularly know that they want to become teachers. So just in terms of the supports, my role in the university is really to do what I'm doing now and to give advice and guidance on applying, on how we select on our courses, on the finance options and on the supports that we have in place. So as I said earlier on, if anybody is applying over the next few weeks or has applied and has been called for interview or wants to know what happens next with their application or is coming to do a written assessment or anything like that, please contact me directly, and I can talk you through what the process is in much more detail. Or if you just want to find out more about courses or making your subject choices, or what happens, you know, if I change my mind on the program I want to do in Maynooth University, I can talk you through all that. We have a shadowing program, which unfortunately hasn't run for the last couple of years because of COVID, where we would have brought people in for a day just to experience a day in the life of being a Maynooth University student. So hopefully that will resume next year. That used to be in February every year. We have our unique selection process, and it is unique in that we do interview, and we do kind of have a very student focused approach to selecting our mature students. And I suppose one of the things that's quite unique in Maynooth is that the whole of the university, all of the academic members of staff, the lecturers, you know, they're invested in picking mature students for their courses. So they sit on the interviews themselves and assess the applications, assess those written assessments, and all of that kind of thing. So they're very, very encouraging of mature students, and really want to see mature students in their classrooms, because, you know, the lecturers and tutors are always saying to us that they're always delighted to see mature students in their classes, because they bring so much extra to class discussion. They really enrich lectures and seminars. They're, you know, mature students are coming from so many different backgrounds, whether you've been, you know, working for years, traveling, raising a family, you know, running your own business, just working, managing your own household budget, all of that kind of thing. You can bring so much of life's experience into the classes that is, you know, different from the 17 and 18-year-olds coming straight from school. So we have the academic skills courses in essay writing and mathematics that I mentioned earlier on. So that's, you know, not everybody, we don't open them up to every single person, but when we're interviewing or when we're assessing applications, if we feel somebody hasn't had an awful lot of exposure or experience of writing, we might refer you on to an essay course, or maths if it's relevant. We have those preparatory courses with the guaranteed progression onto the degree programs that I mentioned. And then for every person that's been offered a place on the CAO and has accepted their place, we invite them into a 2-day orientation program called Launchpad. And at this Launchpad, all of those students coming through the various access routes that I mentioned at the beginning, the DARE, the disability, the HEAR, the QQI, the mature entry route, we bring them all in together and talk to you about how to access supports. You know, you get to meet lecturers, you get to meet all the support team, you get to you know, have campus tours, and just find out about how your first few weeks, how to make that transition really in, you know, from further education into third level education. So and the main thing is you get to meet the advisors, the student advisors, and they're the people that you will see, you know, when you become a student. So the orientation program is very, very important. Again, we've had it online for the last 2 years, but we'd love to be able to invite people in next September. And that usually happens 2 days. It's a 2-day program, usually maybe about a week or a couple of weeks before you actually start into lectures, usually around the 3rd week in September. So when you've become a student then and you're registered in the university, we have dedicated student advisors. So like my role is to be out and about talking to people like yourselves as potential students before you come into the university. But we have a huge amount of fantastic, really experienced advisors here in the Access office, and they have a wealth of experience of dealing with mature students, with students from all different backgrounds, from diverse backgrounds, and coming to them with all sorts of issues. Whether it's academics, specific issues to do with your course, it's something personal, social, something going on in your personal life, or financial issues, they can provide. That's what they're there to provide supports, referring you on to the best place, you know, the best office to go to for the specific supports. So the student advisors can be your first port of call. And these are the people that you will get to know a lot about during that orientation programme. And then we have academic advisors. So in every academic department, one of the lecturers is given the additional role of being the link between that department and the Maynooth Access Programme. So if you came to one of the advisors and you're having trouble with economics, say, and they didn't know the first thing about that subject, they can link you in with the advisor for that department. We have a disability support service, so anybody with any learning difficulty like dyslexia, dyspraxia, dyscalculia, anybody with a mental health condition, long-term illness, physical or sensory disability, there are loads of supports to be gotten from the Disability Support Service, which is part of the Maynooth Access Programme as well. So if that's relevant to you, it's very important that you look that up and find out what kind of supports you can get and how to register with the service. And also if you're doing a written assessment and just say you had dyslexia and you want that to be taken into account, it's important that you make contact with the Disability Support Service with your supporting documentation, as in maybe an educational psychologist report if you had dyslexia, because that has to be into them early. It's usually around the 1st of March, so just check that out. Then we've technology support. People in the you may have been doing a lot of in-class. Some of you may be doing a little bit of blended learning in the last couple of years. Obviously, in Maynooth, there's been a mix of in-class and distance learning, really. So but even before that, learning about the technology, learning how technology can help you as a student, learning all about Maynooth's IT resources, making life easier for you, is a big part of making that transition. So we kind of provide a huge amount of technology support, both after you've become a registered student, but we've kind of started earlier in the year before you actually start lecture, so people can get to know how to access technology and how to make it work for them. And then student budgeting advice service, as I always say, it's probably the biggest used service in the university. So if anybody's struggling with finance, with Back to Education, with Susie, just making ends meet, whatever it is, then you should go to that service. The advisors there, we have 2 fantastic advisors there, and they can give you general advice. They can liaise with Susie for you. They can give you budgeting advice. People are probably, as mature students, you might be well used to budgeting, but they there might be new expenses that you weren't kind of not used to incurring before you become a student here. So they can give you all of that advice, but they can also recommend you for funding from some of our funds that are available for registered students. So this is probably something that will be gone through by our own guidance counsellors, but I suppose just to mention the financial supports, there's the Susie grant, Back to Education allowance. If you're on Susie, if you're on the Back to Education allowance, you should still apply for Susie because it'll cover the €3,000, which is the student contribution charge. The only thing you cannot get is the maintenance part if you're on the Back to Education allowance. I'm sure that Niamh will be telling you all about that. Then some of the other fantastic bursaries, there's the 1916 bursary for students from very low household incomes, the university scholarship for mature students, and then Vincent de Paul and local area partnerships will have education funds for mature students going back into education. And then the 2 funds there, the student assistance and the student emergency funds, are available for registered students. So all of the others you will find out about before you become a student. The others will be there for you if you run into financial difficulty when you are a student, and you'll hear all about them at orientation as well. Studentfinance.ie is a fantastic resource for all of these sources. So just the next, we have I know I have the date wrong there, that was 2021, but the next session is on the 12th of January. So I'm giving a similar session to what I'm doing now, but we'll have a couple of mature students with us on the day, and we'll talk about the QQI mature entry route, but also you get a chance to ask questions. So that's an actual evening event, so just check out the website. And then we've spring and summer open days later on in the year. So that's just my final slide there. So just that's me, Emer Sheerin, emer.sheerin, SHEERIN at mu.ie, and that's my direct line phone number 3307. Or generally, you can contact the Access Office, access.office@mu.ie, and their phone number is 708 4600. So I'm going to leave that there, and I'll unshare, Niamh, to give you.
Thanks so much, Emer.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much. Now, I'll just give a minute there. If anybody, what I'll do is I'll stop recording and